I greet you once again, lovely viewers. Welcome to this video on technical drawing with Teacher Dixon, your Mo teacher. In our today's lesson, we want to consider the introduction to technical drawing. Someone would like to ask, why are we dealing with the introduction now? I realize in my recent classes, my students are always asking the question, why do we need to draw? Why do we need to fuse this into, list of our courses of studies? But I would like to let you know that there is nothing in this world that can be produced that doesn't need a drawing first. Here in this lesson, we are going to realize why that is a factual point. Okay, let's take a look at this. So I have the definition of technical drawing here right on the board. So what I've written here is that technical drawing is a precise or standardized way of communicating technical information through drawing. When we talk about precision in this aspect, when we deal with technical drawing, it's far from talking about maybe mere artistic drawing. This one, there's need for precision and accuracy. So that's why we talk about precision, and then we also mention standardize. Here we deal with standard. For example, anything I produce right here in Nigeria can be used, or let me put it this way, any diagram I draw right here in Nigeria that is expected to be a technical drawing can be used to produce whatever I meant it for in another country, because I am using a standard rule that is known everywhere around the world. So that's why we say it is a standardized or precise way of communicating technical information through drawings. So other drawings like artistic drawing, you can just do nature drawing, perspective drawing. You don't need to measure. You can just bring them out of your imagination and create them. But here, there is a rule, there is a standard, there is need for precision. All right, so we proceed by saying, it uses lines, symbols, and conventions. So we make use of lines, symbols, and conventions. Later on, we'll talk about these individually. So lines, in our next video, I think I've dropped a video like that, which I've dealt with lines. So we talk about symbols and conventions. These are the things or systems that we use when we are dealing with engineering drawing, architectural drawing, or technical drawing, of which technicians, engineers, and architects will understand very well what you are producing. Okay, so we can also put it this way, that technical drawing is a graphical or universal language used by engineers, technicians, architects to interpret drawing. It is understood everywhere. So that is the meaning that we convey from here. All right, we like to go on to say that it is often called a language of engineers. A language of engineers. Why is that? Because a well-made drawing can be understood anywhere around the world without words. So I do not need to begin to explain my drawing to another engineer, because they say birds of the same feather flock together. So if I'm an engineer, if I'm a technician, I'm an architect, I expect that another person who is in the same field with me should understand my drawing. So I do not need to interpret. I will only represent with my symbols, with my lines, and every other thing. And then you will understand anywhere around the world. So that's why we say it is a graphical, it is a universal language of the technicians, engineers, and architects, and many others. All right. So having dealt with the definition of technical drawing and its meaning, we would now like to take a look at the importance of technical drawing. Like I put it, there are a series of questions coming out. People are asking, what is even the need? Because they think maybe if you just do maybe fashion and designing, you will see the output immediately. But they do not know that in the process of doing even fashion and designing, you need technical drawing, because you have precision. You will need to sketch the work you're doing. You will need to take some measurements, and that is an aspect of technical drawing. All right, so what is really the use? What is the importance of technical drawing? So first we say, we use technical drawing to show clear communication. Number one function of technical drawing is showing of clear communication. How is that coming to bear? For example, like I put it, if I am to make a drawing right here, it's a way of communicating an idea. So I am using my pencil, my ruler, my T-square, and other instruments, and I'm drawing something. That thing I'm doing, I am trying to communicate to a person who is going to produce the real object. So the person will follow all that I've drawn, the diagram itself, the dimension and projection, everything he has to understand. That's why we say it shows a clear communication. Another one that we have here, we say it shows accuracy. Accuracy in the sense that if I have this marker produced and another marker is to be produced, that marker, you will agree with me, in as much as is this same brand and this same product, it is going to look exactly like this. There is nothing, like the length will not be longer, the weight, the breadth, nothing will be, different from what I'm having here. That is the sense of accuracy. So in technical drawing, unlike other drawings, like I've mentioned earlier, I talked about a natural drawing, artistic drawing. That one, you can decide to draw my face, and you will not need measurement. You're just looking at me and you're sketching me. Another person who is also good in doing that can sit somewhere else and also draw my face. But what you will realize is that when you take the two drawings together, you will realize that both might have my look. But the issue is that one will be bigger than the other because there is no accurate information. They are just doing imaginative drawing. But this one shows accuracy. All right. The number 3 part of this importance is that it shows record keeping. How do we mean? For example, if I produce a drawing now, and I intend that that thing be produced, for example, let's take a look at a plastic seat. So I want to produce a plastic seat. So I have made the drawing and it is produced. Now, as time goes, maybe in a decade's time, some other person wants to produce that kind of plastic seat that I produce. That person doesn't need to start a new drawing. All he needs is to go to where I kept the record for this particular one that I produced, and then pick it up, look at it, interpret, and then produce it. So that's why we say it is a way of showing record keeping. The next one we have here is that it shows cost effectiveness. How do we mean? For example, if, let me still use a plastic seat. If I intend producing a plastic seat, and I just carried the materials, plastic materials, and begin to maybe melt and whatever I will need to do, and then I fabricate. There is that tendency that what I'm doing will not be accurate. That's number 1. Number 2, I might waste the material because at the end of the day, I might not produce what I am looking for. But if I had first of all put what I intended into drawing, and I have my accurate information, good dimensioning, everything on point, before starting the fabrication process, I will get the right thing. So that is why we say it is cost effectiveness. I will not need to waste material. I will not waste my time. Neither will I waste the energy. So that is where we have the number 3, which is cost effectiveness. Now the last one here is that it shows standardization. What do we mean by that? Like I mentioned earlier, when we produce a technical drawing, we follow standard rules. For example, there are some conventions, like I mentioned. In technical drawing, we have different types of lines. For example, there are lines to show projection, there are lines that are used for construction, there are lines that are used for visible outlining. All these will be understood by technicians and those to interpret whatever we're doing. So we have standard rules. And anywhere that my drawing will be taken to the world, anywhere in the world, it will be understood because it follows a standard rule. So that is all about the importance of technical drawing. I believe you have questions and I would like you to drop under the comment section. But before we do that, I'd like you to take a look at the branches. I would like us to take a look at the branches of technical drawing. All right, so we have branches, we have areas of concern where when we deal with technical drawing, we do not just carry everything in bulk. We break them into areas, different areas. So the first one we want to talk about is mechanical/engineering drawing. What do we intend to draw when we're talking about mechanical drawing? It is a part of technical drawing that deals with maybe motor vehicle, car engines, anything that has to do with engines, that has to do with maybe cars, aeroplane, whatever you have that is, or let's put it automobile, all right? So this mechanical and engineering drawing deals with that. Now, we also have number 2, building and architectural drawing. This other one deals with the area of structural construction. For example, we will have to do with, we'll have to deal with buildings. will have to do with dam construction, will have to do with bridges, overhead flyovers, road construction, and so on. So drawings under this category is the one we call building or architectural drawing. All right, now we also have the one we call electrical/electronic drawings. Now this one deals with the drawing of intricate parts of electronics. For example, you have televisions, phones, and so on. People that are making drawings that have to do with those areas will come into electronic. And when we talk about electrical, we are just talking about circuit drawing, wiring of houses, and so on. So all these fall into electrical and electronic drawing. And the last but not the least in this is structural drawings. Structural drawing deals with the drawing that have to do with, like I mentioned earlier, structures. This might be a kind of beam. That this will have much to do with calculation. Beams, suspended cantilevers in building, those calculation, lintel width, and yes, and so on. So when you are dealing with this, maybe dam, we take measurements of bridges, how the span is, the calculation. Why should we place a pillar here and allow this place to be spacious? So all those things are dealt with under structural drawing. So in our today's lesson, I believe you've learned a lot, and I believe you also have questions where you will need to ask. So please drop it under the comment section, and I will attend to them one by one. Now, in our today's lesson, we've been able to talk about the introduction of technical drawing, where we dealt on the definition of technical drawing. We talked on the importance of technical drawing, and also we've mentioned and described branches of technical drawing. Thank you so much for being a part of this video on technical drawing with Teacher Dixon today. I remain your humble teacher, and I'm always ready to entertain your questions when you have difficulties. All right, bye for now till we meet in the next video. Thank you.